Welcome to the TeenPreneur Show. I'm your host, Dia Coley, and I'm a teenpreneur, bringing you global entrepreneurs who are teenagers. They've started out really young and are an inspiration to all. They prove to be the perfect example of how teenagers can rise high. So tune into this show every week to know more about these young game changers and be inspired by these teens. Watch the young dream big. Now on with the show. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the TeenPreneur Show. I'm your host, Dia Coley, and I'm also a teen entrepreneur of Redone It by Dia, which is a company that recycles denim, empowers women, and donates towards cancer treatment and cancer research. But now let's get on with the show. Today we have Ariyanna Moore. She's 18 years old and from Las Vegas, USA. Let's bring her on. Hi, Ariyanna.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. Well, I'm so happy to have you on our show. Would you like to introduce yourself to our audience?
Hi everyone. My name is Ariyanna. I am the founder of Creators of Tomorrow, and I'm also the founder of You Are Loved.
That's great. So let's start off with talking about Creators of Tomorrow. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Creators of Tomorrow really first started back when I was in high school. So I started it my sophomore year, and it really all started when I was in class and I was being taught animation and design. And when I was being taught these, I just remember my teacher going over job statistics. And when he was going over it, I realized that women were like at the very bottom and they were less prone to get jobs than men. Later down the line, when I had gotten all of the knowledge that I needed from the class, I started teaching at my local Boys and Girls Club, and I started teaching graphic design, animation, and coding to the kids there.
Well, that's super cool. And so now can you tell us what that platform of Creators of Tomorrow has become?
So, Creators of Tomorrow has definitely grown. Um, it started at Boys and Girls Club, and I taught there for about 2 years before COVID
Mhm.
sadly hit. And then I started teaching remotely, and now I teach girls all over the place. Like you said, I'm based in Vegas, so I teach girls from Atlanta, to New York, to
Wow.
just all over the place. Yeah.
That's super cool. And can you tell me the different types of topics maybe you like to teach?
So basically, when it comes to, so I like to divide it up into semesters, just like as if it was a school, but not really. I don't like to consider it like technically a
Hmm.
school, but the first semester, I like to teach them graphic design, and within graphic design, they're learning all the all things that come with Photoshop and Illustrator, and then I'll have them creating things like masks and posters and logos. I actually have a couple masks that some of my students created in the past.
Oh, that's so
Some of
cool.
them were like really obsessed with soccer, so they did a soccer mask. Some of them really liked video games, so did stuff like this, and others really liked marshmallow, so they did this.
That's super cool. Can you tell me like what age range usually your students are?
When I first started, I started teaching 9 to 13, but I raised the age a bit to 9 to 15 just so I can reach some of those high school girls as well.
Okay, cool. And can I know like how'd you get the information that you're teaching? Is it something you're doing in college or?
hmm I went to a high school that was based around majors. So that was just simply my major. I was taught graphic design and then I went on to animation and game development.
That's super cool. And is that something you plan on like pursuing in college and as a career?
Yeah, so I definitely say that as much you can learn as much as you want, and I feel like
Mhm.
you're never done learning. So right now I plan on I just got out of high school, so I'm officially a freshman in college. And I am taking a bunch of classes just to not only
Mhm.
further my knowledge but to further my students' knowledge.
That's great. And is there any like courses that you're planning on expanding and starting to teach your students?
More like, so far as like graphic design and things like that, I want them to be able
Mhm.
to further it there. Like, I want them to not only be able to create their own mess, but I want them to be able to create it from scratch. So, like I was talking to you
Yeah.
before, I am planning on getting a brick and mortar, a physical place where these kids can learn.
Nice.
And with this, in this building, I want them to have 3D machines and silk screen machines where they can create their own products. Like, they can create their own shirts and they can create toys
Mhm.
if they'd like. So it would just be piggybacking off of what they're already learning.
Yeah, that sounds like a really nice, like creative space. Like, can you tell me like maybe some goals that you have to eventually reach that major goal?
The major goal right now is this creative space. I am reaching towards it, and I would love to get multiple locations where I am based, because I just want to be able to teach as many girls as possible. That's my I plan
Yeah.
on teaching just mainly girls, just because I do feel like we said with the statistics, I
Mhm.
just want them to be able to get further. So I just want to get more creative spaces around Vegas.
Yeah, of course. And I also want to know, do you charge for students to take your courses and classes, or do you do them like free?
So Creators of Tomorrow is completely free. I don't think these girls should be paying out of their pocket in any way, shape, or form, because they're learning, and it's just. I think it's like you shouldn't have to pay to pay to learn for a trade. Like, I want them to
Yeah.
be able to be in a safe environment, surrounded by like-minded individuals, and without a
Mhm.
care in the world.
Yeah. And Creators of Tomorrow sounds like some like really popular idea, and I bet like a bunch of girls are like already signed up for it. I want to know how you balance your time and your schedule with it.
I essentially kind of balance my time. I always try to make time for my students, because at the end
Mhm.
of the day, they are kids. And I'm not saying that everybody needs their 100% attention, but there are kids. And I just
Mhm.
want to be able to put my main focus on them, because they're our future. So I just try to balance my time. It's just all about time management and just being able to differentiate my time and things like that.
Yeah. And do you do like maybe one-on-one classes with the girls, or do you have like a group?
So some of my girls like one-on-one, and some of them like groups. So when I'm
Mhm.
in this brick and mortar, this physical creative space, they're going to be more so in groups. But I know some girls can get shy, so if they need like extra help, say they need extra help with the projects or something like that, I am more than welcome to just be working with them one-on-one.
Well, that's great. And how I just want to know like how did you really start it? Was it difficult to like get people to come to your program and like get all the information, all the activities and stuff?
I can definitely say my local Boys and Girls Club helped with that. It wasn't really hard to
Mhm.
get kids when that's just where kids are, you know? Like,
Yeah.
this is just where the kids are, and they're coming into my program. So I put flyers essentially all over Boys and Girls Club, talk to parents,
Oh, cool.
and then kids would start just coming into this computer lab. And that's when just they were like, oh, like, what are you doing? And then I would show them, and then they would kind of want to join the program, talk to parents, and go from there.
Yeah, that's great. And I'm just wondering because I know you said the Boys and Girls Club is where it started and everything, but how did COVID affect it? Could you still do it or did you have to go virtually?
So, because of COVID, I did have to start going remotely, and that's when I did
Mm,
start teaching on things like Zoom, like how a lot of schools started doing. They started teaching completely on Zoom and just started doing
yeah.
remotely, and so I did the same thing and started advertising my program online, and that's when I started getting kids from all over the place.
Wow, that's super cool. Can you tell us like maybe how far, like the farthest maybe student that you have?
Um, probably in I think they're in the New York area. I don't want
Hmm.
to give away their information because I do post them. I like to
Yeah.
post their artwork on my page and everything, but they're in the
Yeah.
on the East Coast and I'm on the West, so
Yeah, that's super cool. I love like how you're helping like girls from all around like the US. That's just amazing. Okay, so not only do you have this program, you have a nonprofit called You Are Loved. Do you want to tell us a little
mhm.
bit about that?
So You Are Love started probably about a year after I started Creators of Tomorrow, and it was just it was me wanting to further help people because I'm not saying that Vegas is a super homeless populated area,
Yeah.
but it's just more so me wanting to help people. So You Are Loved is a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping those in need. So it started off with me giving lunches out on Tuesdays. We called it To Go Lunch Tuesdays. And we are partnered with places like Starbucks. So we would grab lunches and we would give them out to the homeless population.
That's super nice of you. Like, I love the whole concept of it too. I'm just wondering, was it hard for you to start like a nonprofit?
Um, it was definitely hard in the beginning because
Hmm.
obviously, like I wasn't sponsored by Starbucks like immediately, or I wasn't getting donations immediately, so everything was coming out of my own pocket. So it was kind of hard to keep up in that way. So I did have like a little job at the time where I would just simply just work there, and then the money would go straight into You Are Loved. So I would go to places like the dollar store, and like $1 can get like or like $5 can get like a sandwich, a drink, some chips, and like a nice snack, and that would just be what we would give them along with a drink.
Oh, wow, that's super cool. Is there any other activities you do maybe to fundraise?
As of right now, we're not doing like I don't want. Right now, I'm gonna keep it under wraps because we do have stuff in the making. But yeah,
Okay, that sounds cool. We'll stay tuned to learn more about those.
yeah.
Um, but I also want to know, like, is there any other activities you did to help out in the community? Do you have some like examples?
Well, right now, we've been working with a shelter
Mm-hmm.
instead of doing to go lunch Tuesdays, which will be happening again soon. We've been giving we have a pantry, and we've been giving things out of the pantry to those in the shelter. And we've also been helping the senior community, and because of COVID, some of them just aren't comfortable going out, not comfortable going grocery shopping. So if they're just not able to, we bag up their groceries for them, and it's completely free. We grab food out of our own pantry and we just get it to them.
Oh, that's great. And I want to know, is there maybe specific social problems that you want to target with this nonprofit?
So at first it was just homeless people in general, trying to
Hmm.
help them. But after a while with working with shelters, I noticed how much homeless youth is out there, and it's heart wrenching because I just seeing them in that situation. So I just try to help out in any way I possibly can. So that's mainly what we're targeting at the moment.
Yeah, of course. And I want to know, because this seems like a lot of work with everything. Do you have a team to help you with it?
Yeah, so like I said, I am partnered up with Starbucks. So anytime that we need help, they're like, "Oh, well, do you like need this food, or would you like us to come out with you?" So they've been a ginormous
Oh,
help.
nice. That's great. And I know not a lot of nonprofits allow like high school students to do volunteership. Do you have
Mhm.
that sort of idea into your nonprofit?
Far as teens.
Or anyone really?
Well, I like to grab more so my not even my demographic, but people who are surrounded by me, like my fellow high
Mhm.
school students. I would like to grab them and be able to go out with them just to show them like, hey, like you can do this, like just to help out, like you should be doing this, like just to help out the community and keep the community just nice.
Yeah, of course, because I also love to volunteer, but I know a lot of high schools, including mine, like require volunteership hours. So it'd be like a great
Hmm.
way to, and get a bunch of more high school students to help out like the community or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I want to know how like has this experience been of running a nonprofit because you put a lot of work into it. Has there been any like challenges on the way or anything?
Well, I'd like to say in the beginning it was challenging because, like I said, it was all coming out of my own pocket, so it was kind of hard to keep
Yeah.
up. And just so I started it when I was like 16, 17, and
Hmm.
going out and feeding the homeless during that time. I'm not saying I'm super emotional or anything, but seeing them in that situation, it always like I would always
Yeah.
come back from giving out the lunches, like being like, I wish I could have given out more and like crying because I'm like, there's so
Mhm.
much more people to feed, and I just didn't have enough. So I was just, it was just heart wrenching.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like so emotional to be there, but what you are doing is amazing. And like I always say, is like a little steps at a time makes a big difference. So that's
Yeah, for
still
sure.
great. So not only do you have those two projects, you also have a platform called Conversations with Ari. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, so conversations with Ari first started on my page because I do consider myself a journalist. I like to write up on upcoming news or what's just going on in the world. And just because, like, I know a lot of my peers don't know what's going on, so I just always liked to write. I was always a writer in school. But conversations with Ari, it was like me highlighting other businesses. And whether
Mhm.
it's big or small, I just found an interest in them. So I would start posting them on my page. And it originally started just with
Yeah.
me writing write ups and articles on them. And then soon people started asking, like, hey, like, can you write up on me? Or like, hey, like, I would love an interview. And from there, it kind of started. And I've been doing it ever since.
Well, that's amazing. And by the way, everyone, we are actually going to have a conversation at 4 o'clock today. So you should tune in for
Super
that
excited for
too.
that.
Very excited. So I want to know more about your guests. How long has that been started when you've been conversing about businesses and stuff like that?
So I've been interviewing people for about a year, I want to say,
Mhm.
or just hit a year. Originally, I was just interviewing just anyone, just whether they're adults or kids. But recently, I've been trying to reach out to more kids because
Mhm.
I've been seeing so many kidpreneurs lately and so many teenpreneurs like yourself, and I just want to be
Yeah.
able to highlight them and talk to them and just see what they're about.
Yeah, of course. That's exactly what we are about too. And I just think it's amazing that like there's others who are also highlighting like amazing teens and kids with
Yeah, for sure.
businesses too. Yeah. And I want to know, do you have maybe like a goal that you want to push with this platform?
So for conversations with Ari, by the end of this year, I'm hoping to get. I want to reach 100 episodes. That's like my goal as of right now, and I
Mhm.
just want to be able to interview as many kids as I possibly can and be able to put them on a platform.
Amazing goal. I love that. And I just want to know, is there like maybe specific things you talk about, or is it all oriented around their business?
Yeah, so it's always oriented around their business. I'll always research them beforehand just so I can ask them a couple questions. If they're
Mhm.
really young, I always have to stay patient because some of them are just like, well, and they'll start rambling on. And I'm like, hey, I'm just like, we're talking about this. And they're like, oh, yeah, sorry, I was just telling the story about my dog. And I'm just like, no. I'm like, I want to hear about your business. But they're always so cute and so funny. I love interviewing kids.
Yeah.
They're awesome. But I just like hearing about their business and how it impacts them and how it's setting them up for the future because they're always super excited to talk about it because I just know a lot of them with school, it can kind of be a lot. So for
Mhm.
them to be able to talk about it and on a platform, I just think that's super important and special.
Yeah, totally, and I totally agree with that. I also want to know, like, you have so many things that you're doing, amazing things, by the way. And
Thank you.
I know all of them are really oriented around social media. Can you tell us, like, how have you learned over the years how to really utilize it to its best visibility?
Well, in the beginning, Divine Productions, I made it an art page. So if you like scroll all the way down, like you'll see me like posting like drawings and like things like that.
Uh-huh.
And then I was like, well, I was like, I also like to write, so I would like start posting about like certain news that was going on. And then it just kind of stumbled onto, hey, like this is truly a production and I want to be able to put out everything that a production has. So it's
Hmm.
just I utilize social media not only to promote myself, to promote
Hmm.
others and what everyone's doing. And I just think that's really important.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I was like going through your posts on Divine Productions page and I see a lot of like news articles too, and those are super cool. So do you
Yeah.
write up and research about those topics as well?
Yeah, so I kind of put that to a bit of a halt because I wanted to move on to writing more about kids.
Okay.
But yeah, I love reading about like the news and what's going on. And I know a
Hmm.
lot of people like to like know what's going on too. And I just feel like it was like a fun thing just to be putting out, just like, hey, this is what's going on if you haven't read the news
Hmm.
today, or hey, this is what's going on in this person's life if you haven't seen this yet, and just to be putting that out.
Yeah, and I find that really amazing because I know a lot of kids, even myself sometimes, don't really read the news if it's not really interesting or intriguing.
Yeah.
So like putting it on a social media platform where like all kids and teenagers are on could give like a really good view on stuff that they might not catch on like newspapers and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
I really think that
Yeah,
is a
for
cool
sure. Like
thing
I
that you do.
know, sorry.
Oh,
I
sorry,
know
you
a
go
lot of
ahead.
my peers, like they're like, oh, like I don't know what's going on really right now. I just see what's
Yeah.
on social media, and that's how I know. And I'm like, well,
Mhm.
now you have a place where you can know all of it, and it's just right in the palm of your hand.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's also those like really untrustworthy and biased accounts on like social media. So
Yeah.
it's really nice like you made your own where you know it's really trustworthy information.
Mhm. For sure.
Yeah,
I try to
exactly.
stay, when I did write articles, I try to stay as unbiased as possible,
Hmm.
just because, like, you never know who's reading on top of that. And I just think it's important to just understand both sides.
Yeah, of course. And I want to know that you're doing like so many amazing things. Do you plan on continuing this in college as well?
Yeah, for sure. This is not going to stop. I want to be able to further this as much as I can. Like I said,
Mhm.
with Creators of Tomorrow, I do want multiple creative spaces around Vegas. And with You Are Loved, I do want to create it into a full nonstop nonprofit organization because everybody needs a little help sometimes. And if I can do
Yeah.
that, I definitely will.
Yeah, of course. And I want you to like maybe share all your social media platforms so people could reach out to you.
Yeah, so my Instagram is at underscore divine underscore productions underscore. If you'd like to check out some fresh and new kidpreneurs and teenpreneurs, you can check me out there, or you can check out some of the latest artwork my kids have done from creators of tomorrow, and you can check out me volunteering and just using my resources with You Are Loved and giving out.
Well, thank you, Ariana, for coming on. And like
Yeah,
I
no
said
problem.
before, you can catch us today at 4 o'clock talking about my business and the Teenpreneur Show, which would be great. That will be on Instagram Live, by the way. And thank you, everyone, for watching today. If you want to know more about the Teenpreneur Show, follow us at teenpreneur.show, and you could check out our website at teenpreneurshow.com. Thank you everyone for watching, and make sure to tune in next week. Bye.
Thank you for watching the Teenpreneur Show with Dia Coley. Follow us for more information at teenpreneur.show on Instagram. To be a part of the show, fill out the form in the Instagram bio. See you next week!